Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If this is your 400th time, welcome back. We're here with a minisode. We're going to be talking about our worst deals and what we learned from them, right, Andresa? Because there's a lot that you can learn, even though it's
worst deal. I don't know what you're talking about.
You've only made $1 million in every project, right?
Yes. Only home runs in my entire life. I did not get robbed. My projects never got delayed, never over budget.
Of course.
No. You know, with years of experience, I think that when we look back, the lessons that we learned, they were not pleased. And I was pissed off when they happened. And I thought I wouldn't survive and I was about to quit, right? So I quit a million times in my head, but I kept showing up. So I think that the goal for this podcast, and we want to invite you to join us, is that looking back, those lessons were really crucial for our growth and accumulation of experience. So let's talk about this. I remember one of the deals that I had, it was with a partner, and it was supposed to be a rehab in and out.
Yep.
3 max 6 months, because there was a lot of construction happening, right? The biggest mistake that I've made with that deal was the contract, the contingency there. I did not have the power to hire and manage a contractor. That was not on my lap. Therefore, when he hired a quote unquote great contractor with a quote unquote great price to come and do demolition, they did not properly secure the walls and everything collapsed inside the house. That means that I had to go back to the drawing board, and a rehab had to be converted to a new construction. New construction in that area, there were no exceptions. And I had to go through zoning again because the plan that I had did not apply. Right? What was grandfather before did not apply because I'm doing new construction. So we went not to the square zero. We went minus 100. That project took 2 years to get completed. I remember I made $7,000. 7, not 70, 7. Even after 2 years, I made money on that. And I'm grateful for that $7, but I'm more grateful for the lessons that I've learned. I should have made over 6 figures on that deal. I know that.
But so what's the most important lesson it all comes back to?
The contingency. If you're doing a partnership, who is responsible for what? And in my case, with my experience, I need to have control of who I hire with the contractor, and I am the one managing it. So I am the one making the calls on what goes and what doesn't, right? And not relying on to save $10,000 of difference of estates. We actually lost a lot because the partner wanted to go with his buddy, and his buddy was not skilled enough to do the job. So even if you have a friend, any type of partnership, right? Going in already thinking about how would this be resolved if I need to get out, the contingencies, they need to be there. If we don't agree to sell this property, what's the plan, right? What is my role? What is the person's role? Who decides what? You know, it's something that pisses me off.
Yeah. Tell us, Andresa. Please tell us.
Like, oh God, I had chills. I got triggered. When people say, oh, we're going 50-50. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does 50-50 mean? You need to express what does that mean. You need to put it there. Are you talking about 50-50 in terms of finances? Are you sharing the managing of the project, which don't? Somebody needs to be 100% in charge of that, please, please, please. Right? So it isn't. So that needs to be defined. If you're going 50-50 regarding the profit, there are a lot of other things that are not going to be 50-50. You might have 80-20, 100-0, or whatever that is.
Sure.
That needs to be on the contract. We didn't do that. We went 50-50.
50-50 is probably one of the hardest, right? And one of our mentors has said, it's actually one of the hardest arrangements.
Yes.
Really hard.
Yes.
Really
and people
hard.
think that that's the most fair thing ever. It isn't.
That makes a lot of sense. I love the contingency part, and that make sure everything is in writing too, right? That's, huge. And it's just everything. It's hard, right? Because even Andresa and I had a conversation the other day about a few legal matters. And we trust each other implicitly, but everything needs to be in writing, right? Ultimately. So it's the protection of the company and protection of the, ultimately the mission, right? So for me, there's been a number of them. I mean, we've been at this, me and Matt have been at this for almost 15 years. So there's been a number of different projects that haven't gone as expected. And then there's been a lot that have gone really well. So when I think about the common thread, in terms of what hasn't worked in some of the worst deals. And I'm thinking about a project in Trenton. Andresa, you were involved in it because we were so at odds of what to do. It was a 4,000 square foot building attached on both sides. So it had retail on the first floor, and it had 4 residential kind of loft style apartments. And we renovated this. We bought it. We were going to renovate it. And we were renovating, excuse me. And we had so many challenges with various contractors. We had so many challenges with the city. Ended up having to take another year or so. We refinanced it and actually held it. But we had about $100,000 of a note that was due to our investor, meaning we couldn't pay him off all the interest that he was due plus his original loan to us, which meant, we were $100,000 in the hole, right? That was tough. We've thus paid him off completely, made him whole and paid him off all his interest, which is great. But it was hard to swallow. So I think about what responsibility we had in all that. I'm going to talk about the market. Yes, we could have had a better contract in place with the first contractor who stole from us. So that's definitely, I don't even know if I need to say that. What's really interesting, though, that I think is a learned lesson that most people don't think about. They just think about the team, which is true. They just think about the actual project, but you cannot dismiss the power of a market. Meaning,
local market you were referring?
So this was in Trenton, New Jersey, right? So, capital of the state of Jersey. It's actually where we got all of our start, Matt and I. And for many years, we only owned property in Trenton, New Jersey. That's all we owned and managed. I tell you, if you can make it in Trenton, you can make it anywhere. I'm just going to say that. Not New York, Trenton. So Frank Sinatra, you should change your song. Anyway, why I think the market piece is so important is that when you're looking at a project, you have to do an analysis on the market just as importantly. Not what you think about, obviously, the common things, right? Job growth, employment, but from a attraction of team perspective. Here's what I mean by that. Is there a pool of contractors that do business in the city or the area that you're looking to do business? That's a question. There are certain markets like Trenton that it was very hard to even enroll a quality contractor to come into that city.
Why though?
Right. So there's a lot of, now we didn't know that at the time, but in hindsight, right? Number one, is the area safe? It's very basic stuff here, but is the area safe? If they feel unsafe, they're going to be very worried that their equipment, right, their car is going to get broken into, those sort of things, especially if they're contractors in the surrounding area and they've had projects in that particular area. That's a concern. We had so many contractors that we wanted to do business with that wouldn't come into the city. So then our pool of people to tap into became less and less. And when you're not in the driver's seat with that, and people that you're employing to go and check on those projects. And then thirdly is, who's going to manage this building? Who are the property managers in that area? If you look into an area and you say, okay, who are the property managers in this area? And you can't find any, I would run. Don't be like, oh, I'll just be the property manager. That's great until you don't want to be the property manager. That was us. So I think we often overlook the power of the type of people we want to attract to our projects to actually do the business, especially if we're not swinging hammers and doing all the work ourselves, which many of the women listening don't want to do all that themselves. This is a big project, right, Andresa? It was a big reno project. This is a gut project on a large building. And this is an old building, right? So, the quality needed to be there. So I would say being mindful of the market so much more than we used to be versus just getting a good deal, because it comes along with a lot of contingencies on not getting the right team, and banks who want to finance in that area, right? The long list goes along there.
So I think that the bottom line is that not because you can acquire a property for a lower price, that means that that's going to be successful because
Correct.
you won't have people to go there, the property management, the quality of your tenants. And there isn't a social impact, right, Liz? That you guys, I
Correct.
know that you guys are very committed to that.
Yeah, that was our mission.
It
Our
can't
mission.
be to the detriment of your company. That's when I
Correct.
think that the bottom line comes in. How can you influence the community in a positive way? But if your company, it's not financially being able to do that, that defeats the purpose. It's not a nonprofit from that sense that you will sacrifice in order to do that. I think that there is a way to do a win-win, and it's all about the business plan and the vision. And we can go on and on here.
I love that.
But since this is a minisode, that's what you got for today. And if that's the only thing that you were able to do today, congrats. That's enough. And you need to understand that that's what you can do.
And I'm going to end on this
is-
quote. I'm going to end on this quote because I heard it this morning, Andresa.
Oh.
You'll love it. Failure is not important as long as you get the feedback that you needed. And so when you have a worse deal, it's not a failure. It's feedback, because that didn't define us. Imagine if we stopped then. I wouldn't have met Andresa. Well, we worked together on that and said, hey, we're not meant for this real estate investing thing. We're done. I wouldn't be speaking to you right now. Andresa, if she allowed that project to go the way she did and just stop her, we wouldn't be partners right now. So it didn't define us. And it's just feedback ultimately. You just got to learn from that and make it better next time.
Love it. Let us know what you think. Go to our Facebook community group and share your thoughts. See you later.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.